Hello, everyone. As I promised, just a day and a half after the energetic moment when everything seemed to be stuck, we are entering into a new era because the sun is moving into Cancer. So this is the summer solstice, the longest day and the shortest night. And this is the London chart. Again, if you need to look at some other place, what you need to do is just relocate the chart and calculate the hours, the proper hours. And in the London chart, we have Capricorn rising. That is not always a nice position, simply because Capricorn denotes struggles and all kinds of trials and tribulations. And the chart ruler is in Pisces in the second house. And as you probably know, we are moving up to the general election, which is, I believe, is going to be on the 4th of July in London, in England. And before that, we are going to have a full moon, which is just comes after two days after the summer solstice, and also a new moon, which will be, I think, on the either before or right around it. So the next, I will look it up for the next video, which is going to be about the Capricorn full moon. So this particular chart is also kind of a chart for the general election. And the Capricorn shows hardships. And although when we look at in karmic astrology, when we look at the chart ruler, it's usually a position where we can be very successful, but the emphasis is on the word can. We could, if we would, or if we could actually reach everything in our power to be able to do it. So here Saturn has a double meaning. First of all, it shows where we could really be successful, which is resources. But also Saturn by nature shows our biggest obstacles. And in a chart, besides being the chart, except for being the chart ruler, because if it's the chart ruler, we need to look at it in a nice way as well. But usually, if you have a different rising sign, the house of Saturn denotes a behavior pattern where we either say, I have no idea how to do this sphere of life. I'm very unsuccessful here. I have many obstacles, so I'd rather not do anything. This is one way to deal with it. And the other way to deal with it is to put a lot of energy and effort and pain and knowledge and money into that sphere of life, and it's going to be quite successful. The problem is that it is always going to be difficult as well. So the outside world could say that you're very, very successful in that sphere of life, but you knew in your heart that it's a lot of work. So this Saturn at the moment has this double energy, double meaning in the London chart. And on the midheaven, there's Scorpio, which means that the future is obscured. There could be lies, there could be deceit. The Lord of the Underworld rules the midheaven, and the Lord of the Underworld will be part of a structure. It's also in the first house. It is kind of intercepted because actually Leo and Aquarius are intercepted, barely, but still. This means that this energy is put into brackets. So it means hardships for the next 3 months regarding money and resources. And it also means that the future will be in our hands, but it will be put into brackets. We won't actually know what to do about or how to proceed. Mercury is on the descendant, showing that there's going to be a lot of politics and talks and a lot of chatter in the next couple of 3 months. And of course, Venus is separating from the sun. It will soon become an evening star. It needs another couple of days, maybe 2 weeks, before we actually can glimpse Venus on the western horizon. And the Chiron Aries conjunction is applying, but not yet there. Dark moon Lilith, which was a couple of days ago, was on Chiron, and now it is on Aries. Actually strengthens this conjunction. Chiron Aries is going to be the this year's main karmic astrological feature because it occurs every 50, 60 years only, the conjunction. So this is a synod. This is a new cycle. A new cycle is going to begin quite soon, around August. I haven't checked the exact date, but of course we will be looking at the chart when it comes. And of course, dark moon means the acceptance of the curse. And this is what's happening. If you look around, they are still pushing the war. And Lindsey Graham, American congressman, said why? Because, listen to this, Ukraine has unlimited resources. It's a ton of money. It's a jewel, and we Americans should harvest it and should not allow the Russians to dip into it. What about the Ukrainians, dear Mr. Lindsey Graham? What about the people who actually own this whole thing? They are dying. You're killing them. The whole thing is so dishonest, and this is it. This I don't care no matter what. That's the dark moon there. And there's an interesting midpoint structure. It is interesting because the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction was this year's main non-karmic astrological feature. That was a synod, a new cycle was starting. It actually occurs every 13, 14 years. And Jupiter enlarges everything it touches, and Uranus is renewal, or also chaos and anarchy, but also freedom urges and change. And Sedna, creation through dissection, is at its midpoint. So at the moment, this is another chapter in the Jupiter-Uranus saga, so to speak. We will be looking at the two whenever they make a proper aspect, or whenever something important gets to their midpoint. This is the chart when it gets to the midpoint. In the 10th house, which is the future, we have the two independent ladies. The problem is both are retrograding. Pallas Athena, the wise girl, and Asteroid Lilith, revolt against injustice. So that is the highlight of the London charts. Let's take a look at the main points. Before we do that, three celestial objects, three personal planets actually, are out of bounds. The moon, which is very out of bounds, Mercury, and Venus. So they operate on a non-human level. They operate kind of on a universal level. You also have to know, when you look at a person's chart, whenever you see an out-of-bound planet, it usually denotes in karmic astrology that in a previous lifetime, this person suffered something, and it's usually linked to pain, immense amounts of pain. And it could act as it could bring us interesting traits, it could bring us ingenuousness, but also alienation from the family, from the environment, from your loved ones, from your peers. This is the complex planetary picture that was already there 2 days ago when we had the anaretic formation. This is partly anaretic because by now Vesta moved into Leo. The Sun moved into Cancer, and the rest stayed where it was. Black Moon Lilith is at the end of Virgo. It needs a couple of more days before it moves into Libra. Pisces is at the very end of its own sign, 29 degrees 54 something, very, very slow, but it will get stuck and then turn back. It's not going to move yet into Aries. It will make a brief excursion into Aries, I think 6 months later, but then it will move back again into Pisces, and the final date for it to move finally into Aries fully and completely is only 2026. It will do it together with Saturn, and that is signifying a new era. Hopefully, this woke madness and this idiocy that is like really around the world will somehow cease. Anyhow, so the crown is definitely energetic and also dissociate, simply because if you take a look, the Pluto the crown is made up by Neptune, Pluto, Vesta, Black Moon, and Sedna. Neptune is higher love, universal love, but also deception. Pluto is power and transformation. Vesta is the focusing principle. Black Moon is clairvoyance and the ability to act what's necessary to act upon a situation. And Sedna is the creation through dissection. At the crown jewel, at the tip of this crown is Sedna, creation through dissection. And if you take a look at the placements, we have two trines which are dissociate because Black Moon is at the very end of Virgo. Pluto is already in Aquarius. So this is a trine which is really a quincunx. So is the next one with Vesta and Neptune. Neptune is in Pisces, Vesta in Leo. Again, the energy is the quincunx energy. Luckily, the Sedna Pluto trine is a good one because it is actually in an air. They are in air signs, but the Vesta Astrea. I already talked about that. Okay. What is interesting is the fact that we have a dissociate T-square. And actually, we like this T-square simply because of the same reasons, because these squares are dissociate. Neptune Sun square is in water signs, so it has the flavor of a trine. And Sun Black Moon Lilith square is in the sextile energies. So again, it has the flavor of so this dissociate square is actually beneficial, and at the apex of which is the sun, which gives us energy and also illumination. And there's also an angel wing, which is not energetic and not dissociate, because it is with Sedna, the sun, and Vesta focused on creation through dissection, and the sun is at its apex, so everything is moving towards the sun, towards illumination and understanding. These are the transcendental objects, and if you are here for the first time, please note that we work with 3 types of transcendental objects in karmic astrology. The asteroids, which are orbiting between Jupiter and Mars. Those are the asteroids are the personal karmic level, which are always in magenta or purple, depending on what you watch it. Sometimes I see it's more purpley on a laptop and more magenta on a phone. The ones in blue are centaurs, and centaurs describe the nature of our karmic wounds. And the red ones are the fixed stars, which are not part of the solar system. They are universal, they are higher dimensional energies, and they usually denote special traits and healing potentials. And as you can see, there are quite a lot of fixed stars in this chart, luckily. The sun will be aligned with Betelgeuse and Menkalian for quite a while, actually for another 20, 40, 50 years at least. And Menkalian is Beta Auriga, and Betelgeuse is Alpha Orion. Betelgeuse is one of the most beneficial stars there could be because it denotes unlimited success. And Menkalian is Beta Auriga. The whole constellation Auriga is linked to Vulcan or Hephaestus, the lame smith, which should be called goldsmith, but anyhow, here's a smith and a goldsmith, who creates his own chariot because he cannot really properly walk because his legs are ruined when their mother Hera throws him out of the Mount Olympic because he's so ugly after birth that she can't take a look at him. And so he creates this chariot by which he simply overcomes his handicap. So Menkalian is a star which allows you to win at all costs, even if you are handicapped, even if you have shortcomings. And on the sun, you have also Apophis and Justitia, justice, one of the 4 cardinal virtues. And Apophis, which is the snake that swallows the sun in Egyptian mythology, complete destruction. unfortunately we have another destruction asteroid, Saturn, which is on Sedna. This again links to complete destruction because it is linked to the cataclysm that occurred 11,600 years ago, when Atlantis got destroyed and the whole world really got destroyed. So we are at the space-time moment when the idiots who run the world could destroy our world. So we need to be very, very cautious and pay attention to everything. On Pluto, we have Altair, Alpha Auriga. This is one of the shaman stars, denoting shamanic energies and healing potentials. On Sedna, besides Saturn, you have Pelion and the Pleiades. The Pleiades will be there for the next 2 years. This is the home of the creator goddess. And Pelion is the mountain where the caves of the centaurs are. And Pelion, describing certain karmic wounds, is linked to whether or not I can make a home, whether or not I can climb the mountain of life in order to achieve what's there. And as Pelion is home for the centaurs, and centaurs denote our karmic wounds. Pelion also is linked to very hard, very difficult life experiences, which if we are able to overcome, we will gain an access to another higher level energy. And the Black Moon has the supergalactic center, which is one of the main or key celestial areas in karmic astrology. And all these areas are linked to, or these galactic points are linked to dilemmas, karmic dilemmas. And the supergalactic center is linked to the dilemma of nothing is ever enough. So those are the transcendental objects. And whenever we have a 0 degree something and an ingress into 0 degree, I usually look around and take a look at what else we do have there, what else is at 0 degree. And we have only Sisyphus and Homer at 0 degrees Scorpio. The rest are at 1 degree, and I didn't want to fool around with 1 degree because this is a sun ingress. So let's keep the 0 degree. And Sisyphus, take a look at the myth. He is punished by being put into the underworld, and he has to lift this huge rock and take it up to a hill, and at the very, very last moment, it always rolls down, and he needs to again do it. Futile, hard work. And Hauma is one of the Hawaiian creator goddesses, and it denotes rejuvenation and the ability to create more and more and more suns. She rejuvenates and renews herself, makes herself much younger so that she can deliver more children. And the two together in this space-time moment suggests to me something very, very sad. It suggests that the wars that are raging in our region and everywhere on the world are not going to stop. And this energy where mothers are delivering children and wanting to deliver children is really getting futile because they're being killed off. And I'm not just thinking of Russian and Ukrainian mothers whose sons are being killed on the battlefield. I'm thinking of any mother who has to give up her child, her son, to war. And this is the worst I can imagine, having 2 sons myself. And this chart has something interesting, which you only realize if you do karmic astrology, because one of the main karmic aspects is the Quindecila, 165 degrees, which denotes obsession, both obsession and ambition. In the negative sense, it denotes obsession. In the positive sense, it denotes ambition. And the sun and moon have this Quindecila, and with Sedna, they create a Quindecila arrow. Now, this is our saving grace in many, many ways, because it simply means that we have a very strong connection to what we really want to achieve. The sun is also the ego development, but the powers that are there. The moon is our own soul, our spiritual essence, but also the people who don't really have enough power. But with the Sun, Moon, Quindacile, it kind of suggests that maybe we could achieve something if we united, if we actually let our voices be heard. And so this is what we need to do. This is what we need to concentrate on. Let our voices being heard. And at the moment, we have leaders here in Europe and also elsewhere, especially in the United States, where the people's voices are not being heard. What we would like is immaterial to those in power. Think about the stupid Green Deal, which is such an idiotic thing. Think about the woke idiocy. Think about the gender propaganda. Think about the war propaganda. They keep saying, on the one hand, that the Ukrainians need to fight and we need to have them. We need to aid them as long as it takes. This is the same people who say that Israel needs to immediately cease its attack on the Gaza Strip. How can they even live with their conscience? Because what I say is that we need to end both. We need to end the bloodshed. We need to end all wars, if possible. Why is it happening? Of course, because there's always the money behind it. You need to trace the money in order to understand it. War is one of the biggest businesses in the world. Weapons are very, very expensive. And when there's a war, a lot of weapons and a lot of ammunition are needed. So business is beautiful for them. This is the reason. And the people are suffering. And this particular chart kind of suggests, on the one hand, that this will go on, but on the other hand, that we finally have some power, or we could show some power. And this is what we should need. This is what we should do. Happy solstice, and thank you for listening. And I will come back 2 days later with the Capricorn full moon, I promise, where there will be other interesting placements. Thank you. Bye.